was good, Muds? Apparently, Peterbot is lost and Pollo's won. I don't know what's going on. K-Dog just posted a new video. Go subscribe to him. He's almost at 100K. Pollo ends Peterbot's dominance. Clicks gets his best FNCS placement. Hey, I haven't been able to tap in too much into Fortnite in the last couple of days, so I'm really curious to see what's happened.
And what is most likely going to go down as the best grand finals of all time?
I really wish I tapped into. The only reason I wasn't, I'm running my Pokemon card business right now. I'm running a couple YouTube channels, but dude, I saw on Twitch like 40,000 plus viewers on like numerous Fortnite streams. Honestly, I'm super hyped. Let me know in the comments below if you guys tapped into this yourself.
We got to see both NA and EU come down to the very final game.
That's crazy.
Absolute poetic finish for pure
Poetic finish.
Peterbot'S FNCS win streak coming at the hands of his old duo.
What, dude? I was really expecting Pollo to not do that good, but apparently he's doing crazy work.
Subscribers would be like winning FNCS to me.
Big W,
kid.
kiddo.
Help me to be able to win FNCS. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new.
Big
if you guys
W.
want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite.
Yep, if you want to support me, use this code. If you want to support me, use code AJ7Matrix.
Absolutely crazy grand finals by talking about the team in first place of Agers, Acorn, and Pollo.
Oh my goodness. So Agers, Acorn, and Pollo winning first. Now here's the thing. I thought they were a great trio. Agers and Acorn are really, really top people. So is Pollo. But first? Oh my goodness. I ain't gonna count. I was not expecting that. I was expecting a Pollo win. Sorry. I was expecting a Peterbot win. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing this is tough. Mainly because that like Peterbot has always been that top person for the last couple seasons, and now he finally has it won. This is crazy work. I love this, bro. This is so tough. Oh my goodness.
These guys were able to finish with 922 points.
Insane amount of points
too.
too.
Won 1 out of the 12 total games.
Oh wow.
But they finished grand finals with 100 total elims and an average placement of 4.5.
Oh my goodness. That's insane. That's like insanely high consistency. That's crazy.
Which is just literally absolutely insane. They did not have a single bad game today. They got a 9 elimination 6, 7 elimination 3rd, 6 elimination 3rd, 7 elimination 6, 3 elimination 8th, and a 10 elimination 4th.
That's actually so good. That's crazy.
This whole season, everybody was focused on the Peterbot storyline.
Yeah, I really thought they were gonna win. I'm not gonna
lie.
lie.
Is he going to win grands by over 200 points? Grand finals is gonna be so boring because Peterbot's just gonna dominate, and the trio of Agers, Acorn, and Pollo just came out of absolutely nowhere. And
Fair
Pollo
enough.
has officially completed his own 4P, winning.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that, huh? Yeah, Chapter 5, Season 2, Season 3, Globals, and Season 1. Bro. Pollo's cracked, bro. And what's crazy is this literally proves that, like, he wasn't carried by Peterbot. Because everyone thought he was carried by Peterbot. Look, me personally, I thought he was a little underrated. I thought he wasn't getting the credit that he deserved. Because he did crazy on Globals. Clutched in Globals just like Peterbot did. I feel like he was underrated. Seeing this win is so good because I definitely feel like he's going to now get the recognition he deserves.
His 4th straight
so
grand
tough.
finals now. I want to quickly talk about Acorn and Pollo. Both
Oh,
of these guys have
and
been
the other
so
duos, too.
disrespected by so many people in the Fortnite community. They say, oh, the only reason why Acorn could ever win FNCS was because he was carried by Cold.
Oh my goodness, that as well. Yeah, everyone says that Cold carry Acorn every single time. That's crazy. So now we have this trio that everyone said got carried, now winning first. That's crazy work.
And then
That's
for
crazy.
Pollo, it was always, he just gets backpacked by Peterbot, and he is nothing without Peter. And how cinematic is it that the
Mad
way they were
cinematic,
able
bro.
to
It's a movie, bro. It's a movie.
win their first grand finals without them. They end up doing it with each other, and they
Peterbot killing
take
kid out of
down
there.
their ex-teammates who so many people thought were unstoppable, proving
Wow.
that they really are just that good. In
That's
second place,
crazy.
though, what an effort from the trio of Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot.
Oh my goodness, by 4 points. Oh my goodness, it was that close. Oh my goodness. Still getting 25 bans each. That's crazy. You know what I think is going to happen? I think next season Peterbot's going to win. You might be like, bro, you're glazing. Pop it out your mouth. Look, this is the thing. Look, I think honestly, I don't know. I think there's still such a consistent trio. I think they're going to stay as this trio. Or if not, they're going to drop Rituals for Peterbot. That's my thing. They're either going to keep Rituals or they're going to add Pollo on top of for pause. Whoa. Pollo, Code, and Peterbot. That's what I think. But we'll see.
They finished with 908 points, so only 14 points behind Pollo's trio. They were able to win 2 out of the 12 games as well, finish the tournament with the most total elims, getting 112 total elims. Now, on day 2, they had some very good games, but they also just had 2 bad games. And when Acorn's trio is playing so consistent every game, not having a single dud game,
yeah,
it is
2
just
bad
not
games
going
will
to be
hit.
enough. They got a 14 elimination win, 9 elimination 4.
Dang, they got 2 wins.
A 14 elimination second and a 16 elimination win.
Okay, so this is the thing. They literally had 4 points below. They had wins. Literally, if they didn't get the 17th place, they would have won. It's always crazy, like, when you look at, like, the leaderboards and you realize, like, how close it was. That is insane, dude.
You know we're going to be talking more about Peterbot later on in this video. I honestly did not expect this at all. Wow. These guys won every single Cash Cup, 5 straight Cash Cup wins, won the first game of their group stage, qualified straight into grand finals, and then somehow, some way, they were not able to get the job done. That is just not something I thought I would be saying right now. And of course, who else would it be except for Pollo of all people to end their dominant run.
Yeah, let's keep it a buck. Out of all people, okay, it wasn't gonna be Clicks. Look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Look, they're a good trio, especially they're funny for content. But let's keep it a buck. We all knew Clicks wasn't gonna win first. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Third place, getting his best ever FNCS placement. The trio of Clicks.
Speaking of, oh my god, wait, this is actually so good. This is so good. Clicks has always been a top 4 champion. That's like his thing, you know what I mean? He getting third here is so good. Granted, if Peterbot and Pollo weren't a thing, could have been possibly a first. Because look at the points difference. There's a good 200, almost 200 point difference. Obviously, I think there's just like a couple trios that are always just like far above the competition. Who knows? Maybe if Peterbot and Pollo weren't a thing, they would have got first. Just because of how, I mean, this is a good placement, like high points. But again, 200 point difference is crazy. But this is really cool to see that Clicks getting his first third. This could mean the uprise to maybe a first or maybe even a second. Because even a second is still good. Granted, it's not no first, but it's still good. You know what I mean? 17 bans each player is crazy. Plus, Batman, Booga, and Yamzo getting more recognition for their streams and for the content that they deserve because of how good players they are.
Batman, Booga, and Yamzo finishing with 736 points. So happy for Clicks, man. The 4th place curse has finally been broken.
Thanks, K-Dog.
After, I think this is like 6 years of him competing now, this is his official best ever FNCS Grand Finals placement. They finished with 736 points. We're able to win 1 out of the 12 games as well.
That's still good. The fact they were able to win as well, that's good. Because I don't know if Pollo and Acorn won.
If anybody had concerns of their fragging ability, they finished with the 4th most elims in the entire tournament. Impressive. They were playing out of their minds today. They played far better today than yesterday. They got an 8 elimination second, 1 elimination 9th, 8 elimination 4th, 7 elimination win, 3 elimination 5th, and a 5 elimination 7th.
That's
they
crazy.
Did not have a single game outside of the top 10 today. And I guess if you are Clicks, you could be a little bit sad because if you guys didn't know, it is only the top 2 trios that actually qualified to the global championship.
Oh, nah. I didn't even think about that. I mean, even still, this is still a really high up tournament. Like, this is still good, impressive, and good to see.
From this season, so Clicks has unfortunately not qualified for LAN yet, but I have no doubt that this trio will be able to in the future now.
Oh, wow. They just took out Bucky's team.
Did have some doubts about this team. I predicted them to finish in 4th, so they did outdo my expectations. Huge shout out to these guys all around. They played absolutely insane. 4th place is Vidil, Cooper, and Sphinx.
Okay, I think this was super expected. Vidil, Cooper, and Sphinx, this is a fantastic trio. Like, I wasn't expecting them to get first. I'm gonna keep it a stack. But I was expecting them to get a good top 5. I was expecting Kanata to get like a 3rd or 4th. I don't see Kanata yet. But I was definitely expecting Vidil, Cooper, and Sphinx to actually have like a really good high placement. Because they're really good players. Cooper's insanely good. I still think he's like a little bit disrespected for how good he actually is. And Vidal and Sphinx are both also very good players.
703 points. They were also able to win 2 out of these
and 11 bans.
Total. I don't want to see people saying that this was a disappointing team. If you just go back to the beginning of the season, Vidal literally had no options on EU, so he was forced to move over to NA after getting dropped by his old trio, formed with Cooper and Sphinx, who a lot of people saw Cooper as a player that was starting to decline in his career, and they just placed 4th place in their first Grand.
So I think the people are genuinely just hating on Cooper. He's not only won a recent Cash Cup, but also the 4th year. I don't see Cooper getting worse. He's also 17, so like he's not. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Once you're like 19 or 20, you're kind of out of Fortnite. You know what I mean? So by the age of like 16 to about 19 is like your peak of Fortnite. So seeing Cooper, I think he's 17 right now. He's more than chilling. He doesn't have arthritis. He still has the reaction time. He still has to play the game. Like, I really think that some people just hate the hate. You know what I mean? No matter why they hate Cooper. Like that's, you know, they're ignoring the fact of how good he actually is as a player, especially because of how good he's been placing lately in normal tournaments too.
Grand finals together.
Aussie Antics made a video about it, by the way. It was really good. If you check out Aussie Antics' video about Cooper explaining how he plays the game in one of the solo cups, like you can tell he's still a really good player.
Super impressive stuff as always. I hope Vidal is going to stay on NA for the rest of the year.
Oh, by the way, and the Vidal thing. Vidal with the fact that he literally just had to move all the way to a different server and place that high is impressive because we've seen other people come from different servers to NA and get absolutely dogged on. Mongrel, Mr. Savage, one of them. Some players from Power. Like, people underestimate NA. And then once they come over, they get dogged on. No offense, but y'all get dogged on. Like, that's just how it is. That'd be just the same as if NA went to EU. I really feel like NA and EU just have this different way of playing. You know what I mean? They're both very, very good. And I'm not going to compare which one's better because there's never really an answer for that. But I will say that there's always that, you know, if one team goes to the other, they're cooked. Same thing for reverse.
Because this is definitely a LAN quality team. 5th place was Muzz, Rise, and Yapko.
Wow, I was actually, what? Yo, wait, this is actually good top. I'm surprised Booga's in 7th too. I don't see Booga play too much, but the fact that he's back with the Vive and playing with Rets, not bad to see a 7th. Rapid, Kanata, and Bolts. I was expecting them to play higher, I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting a good 3rd or 4th, but that's still pretty good. 6 bans as well. That's also always good. Muzz, Japko, and Rye. I was not expecting a 5th out of them. I'm not going to lie. That's just me personally. Wasn't expecting a 5th. Maybe a top 10, but that's solid to see, bro.
6th place was Rapid, Kanata, and Bolts on 682. 7th place was actually Aviv, Booga, and Threats on 628 points. Huge shout out to Booga, man. He's clearly not taking the game as serious anymore, and he is still able to pull off top 10s in grand finals. 8th place was Noxy, Virgo, and Curly on 576. Nice. And then there was almost a 200-point gap between 8th and 9th,
Insane.
with Shadow Curve and Tyler finishing in 9th, and then the Unk squad of C.
Unk squad is crazy work.
Jack and Blake rounding out the top 10. Some other big names that we had just outside of that top 10 is like Visuals of Braids and Diminished in 11th, Quincy Byla and Edgy in 12th, Dead Sales and Encrypted in 13th, and then Bucky, Okus, and Craze in 15th place. Let's talk about the final kin stats now for both damage dealt and the stat leaders. Starting off with in 10th place for the most damage dealt is Yonzo, 9th was Bolts, 8th was Yapko, 7th Vidal, 6th was Pollo. Going into the top 5 is 5th of Kanata.
That's insane. Look, so that's great. Look at the kills. The most kills is crazy. Peterbot'S and Cold, Agers and Pollo, then Kanata. I'm telling you, dude, Kanata's still underrated. Look, yes, their team got top 6, but he had the top 5 most damage dealt and top 5 elims. So when people say I glaze, there's logic behind it. You know what I mean? Like, there's logic behind the glaze. You know what I'm saying?
3rd of Threats, and then the 2 people that are head and shoulders above everybody else is 2nd of Agers, and then in 1st place, getting 20,770 damage was none other than Peterbot. If we go over the stat leaders too, it is just a wall of Peterbot's name. For damage, it's Peter.
This is how I imagine people looking at me when I talk about Kanata. But in this instance, it's Peterbot. Oh my goodness, bro. Yeah, why does Sphinx build so much? 6,919 builds.
Elims, it's Peter. Assist is Peter.
Oh my
Damage
goodness.
ratio is Agers. Damage per minute is Peter. Builds is Sphinx. Farmed is Rapid. Distance is Muzz. Storm
Wow.
time is Max. And then shotgun damage is Peter. And AR damage is Peterbot as well. I've been trying to show love to Pollo, Acorn, and Agers all video long, but we still cannot ignore the fact that this was one of the greatest Grand Finals performances
Crazy.
all time from Peterbot. I think he is still pretty comfortably the best player in the entire world.
I would think so as well. People think that's glazed, but genuinely, Peterbot is the best player in the world as of right now. That's if you want to compare it into creative 1v1s, that has nothing to do with playing actual in-game. I think these tournaments really show you how good a player is, because creative, that's absolutely nothing compared to actually playing in-game, where that's where it's actually
But
important.
somehow, some way, it still just was not enough to take home that first place spot. Before we move over to EU, let's talk about how my predictions actually went. I was able to correctly predict 9
Dang.
out of the top 10 trios
Wow.
inside of the top 10.
That's
My
crazy.
biggest misses, I will 100%
Donnie.
say that me putting Acorn, Pollo, and Agers in 5th place was definitely a very bad call for me. I
Wow.
majorly disrespected these guys, so I will admit my wrongs there, and they will
Respect,
100% be a top 2 trio for me going into the future now. And then the only team I wasn't able to correctly predict inside the top 10 was Mason, Donnie, and Chance. They
What'd
did
they
get
get?
surprise con though, so I guess they do
Oh.
have a little
See, that sucks. Getting surprise con. And the only reason they got surprise con is because Donnie got posted on there and they probably wanted attention. I don't see any other reason where you'd surprise con, which basically what it seems like it meaning is you change your drop. Like most people have a pretty consistent drop. Changing your drop pretty surprisingly doesn't happen that often unless there's a big reason for it.
little bit of an excuse. This was a generational NA Grand Final.
Generational.
Let's actually move on to how
MSDS was a
went
movie.
down. Now the finish on EU was absolute cinema. This was one of the
What?
best EU Grand Finals I have ever watched, and it came down
Bet.
to the very final game where it was
What? 11? We got an all-time classic. Game 12 loading up right now. Let's make a moment.
4-person race to who could take home the crown.
A 4-person race? That's why there was 40,000 people, Mr. Savage, 40,000 people, Aussie Antics. That's why there was so many viewers, because it was a 4 race to the win. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. Let's hear
And
it.
the winners ended up being the trio of Vico,
Okay, this makes so much sense. I popped it out, okay? Dude, Vino's such a good player, bro. This makes so
Vino,
much sense.
and Flixie.
Oh
these
my
guys finished
goodness.
with 673 points total.
Look at the point difference, like 300-point difference. That's the thing. So you might be like, oh, like since Pollo got more points, but they got more wins. So again, you can't really compare on like which server is better. You can in the comments, but there's not really a
Winning
way to
grand
compare
finals
it.
by almost 30 points. They had such an insane day two. They were able to win 4 out of 12 games total in this
That's
tournament.
crazy.
If we just go over their match history from today, it was a 15 elimination win, 2
Wow.
elimination 18th, 5 elimination.
So look how like the 3 18th places, but their comebacks were 2 wins with over 10 plus kills. That's crazy. Like if you get a high kill win, you're just so far up. And they did it twice.
6th, 11
That's
elimination
crazy.
win, 6 elimination 18th, and then a 2 elimination 19th in their very final game. They had a very comfortable lead going into last game, and I don't
Wow.
want to necessarily say they choked away the final game, but that is just the downside that comes with this
He didn't want to say it, but he knew it.
team's play style is they are
That's
not
crazy.
going to be as consistent as some of the other teams in this
Oh,
tournament.
fair,
but then
fair.
the thing that separates them from everybody else and why they are the best trio in EU is because they can get more eliminations than almost any other trio in the world. They finished
Yeah, that's the thing as well. That's what I've noticed about this trio. Because it seemed like it was very 50-50 when it came to like the tournaments that they were playing. Everyone was like, oh, from what I heard from the community at least, was that a lot of people thought that this trio was not going to do as good just because simply from their last tournaments they were, you know. But I think those tournaments, they were really figuring out their playstyle 100%. So now that they're here, they're able to perform correctly.
the tournament with 83 total elims, which was
Wow.
12 more than second place. Such an insane performance from these guys. We even got a super wholesome tweet from Vino where he shouted out his teammates of Vico and Flixie.
Oh, that's
And he
nice.
said that Vico is the best player in the world.
I played really bad on day 2. My nerves could not handle it. I'm trying to read like the bottom part. Oh, I'll just say, just wanted to write a tweet about my teammates in this grants. Vico is the best player in the world. He had the clutch gene genetically, I don't know. Hopefully I said it right. Coded into his body at birth. I don't need to say anymore. If he calms down a bit, he'll go 8x. Dang. The second best caller I could ask for. This is for Flixie. Put so much time to help us prepare, and when I was down in the dumps after selling back-to-back games, he reeled us together and kept the mental. Couldn't ask for a better teammate. Dang, the amount of time this man puts into his teams is unbelievable. The amount of care he has is incredible, and how much information he tells us helps the game so much. His sleep schedule might be fixed after today.
He has the clutch gene, and if he's able to calm down a little bit, he'll be able to be an 8-time FNCS champion. He also shouts out Flixie and gives credit to Raz. I am just so happy for this trio. Vino is now officially a 3-time FNCS winner, and Vico and Flixie are back-to-back EU FNCS champions. From all of the drama we had at the beginning of the season, when Vino was potentially going to play with Peterbot and Cold, to him deciding to stay on EU and play with Vico.
Wait, what did Booga say? Booga's just mid. I ain't gonna cap, that's crazy. The lion doesn't concern himself with the opinions of the sheep. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's low-key tough. You're gonna be like, that's glazed, because yes, it's Fortnite. But I ain't gonna lie. If your favorite celebrity said that, you would think it's tough. If LeBron said that, you would say that's tough. That's low-key tough. I ain't gonna cap. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was clicks in the corner right here. I thought this was clicks.
Peterbot and Cold, to him
but still crazy.
To stay on EU and play.
That's good that he stayed on EU.
Just such a cool full circle moment for them to now be arguably the best trio in the world and booking their ticket to LAN. We also got a win reaction for both Vico and Flixie. So let's check those out.
No way. Let's hear it.
Vico, big Vico. FNCS winner. Ich heul gar nicht, Digga.
Aww.
Ich heul gar
nicht. He's trying so hard to cry.
Not even close. Oh, the Jets winner graphic shop posten, not even close.
Aww. Dog, that's so sick.
The other trio that has secured their spot at the Global Championships in France is
I'm gonna guess Malibuga.
Other than Ping.
I got it! Okay, if you're wondering, I genuinely was not able to look at it. So that was a genuine guess. That's crazy. I'm so glad I guessed that. That's so sick.
They were able to finish with 648 points. They did not win a single one of the 12 games either.
But still super consistent.
Absolutely insane performance from.
So this shows, by the way, that as long as you're super consistent in placement and kills, it doesn't matter how many wins you get. Well, I mean, it does matter obviously because the winner has got 4 wins. But what I mean to say is like, you can still place good even if you don't get wins as long as you get high placement and high kills.
This team, from struggling majorly at the beginning of the season to just slowly getting better with time, showing that if you do just stick with your team and try to improve together, anything really is.
That was a crazy jump, Vico. What? Watch the jump. Hold on. Yo, that's a crazy jump.
Anything really is possible. And for them only being 30 points away from an FNCS championship, it's still just such a successful season for them. Third place is another trio. I want to give a huge shout out to Avania, Pixie, and Marius. I mean,
wow, so they got third. Okay, fair enough. Dude, I think Marius Cal, I think it was either him or Malibuca, one of the two. They were getting like so much like back. I wouldn't say backlash, but they were all saying like they were getting fallen off or whatever. Dude, I think anyone that tries to be like, oh, you fell off. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's motivation for them to just do so much better. Or like I don't know, because like a lot of people would just be like, oh, this dude fell off. Same thing for like Cooper, but like they're still placing so high. Like just because they don't see him in first because they've gotten wins before, I feel like people, you know, gotta chill out a little bit. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they're still placing really high. Third place, some people might, that's not first, but he just made 27 bans from this tourney, you know?
Hey, I said all season long they were the third best team going into FNCS, and they finished in exactly third place.
Fair.
You know that they are probably...
By the way, K-Dog's predictions are so good. Like, when you guys watch his videos on predictions of the tournaments, he is pretty accurate. Like, I'm telling you, like, 90% like accurate. It is crazy talk.
disappointed that they finished in 3rd place after being in 1st on day 1. But I mean, these guys literally had to qualify out of the last chance qualifiers just to be able to get a spot in grand finals. So I think they should still be super happy about a top 3. Only
100%.
being 1 spot off of land definitely does hurt, but I 100% think that they'll be able to qual land pretty easily next season. 4th place is a trio and players I want to give huge credit to as well of Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstash. They
Dang,
finished
bro.
with
That's crazy.
points and were able to win 2 out of the 12 games as well.
I think they said
tied for the
Merstash. I don't know.
second most elims in
Queasy's really good. I think Queasy's not talked about enough, bro. Queasy's a really good
entire
player.
tournament with 71 elims. I tweeted out that Queasy finishing in 4th place while being contested for every single game and even still just having an opportunity.
That is pretty
to
insane.
win at the very end. It's just such an insane performance. He really is the best IGL that Fortnite has ever seen, in my opinion. I feel like he definitely is the player that always has his back up against the wall, the most pressure on him to perform. So many different things go against him every single time, whether it's him being contested or he doesn't have a very good drop spot and no one really believes in him. And he is always just able to pull off insane performances time and time again.
Smack.
We did see Queasy go on a little bit of a Twitter rant, but he also said that he did get his passion back now and he wants to win.
That's so tough. You know, I can relate to this because, like, with YouTube, I've got my, fire drive to, post again. So, being able to see other people get their passion back, I can't explain to you how good that can make someone, in their grind. I don't know, maybe you might be at the moment watching this and you might not be having, that drive to do something. But I'm telling you, once it comes back to you, bro, make sure you don't take your foot off the gas, bro.
So badly again. So it is about to be
So
scary
awesome.
hours for the rest of EU now. Because
That'd be
there is
crazy,
just
man.
so many good teams now. And I am just even more excited for next season. 5th place, finishing with 572 points in their first ever grand finals, is Pix, Darm, and Demus. Now I remember hyping up Darm and Demus back when they played duos together. And then they were able to pick up Pix and place top 5 in all 3 of their first ever grand finals.
First ever grand finals. I think I remember this. I said about this trio, I was like, I've never heard of them. That's simply because it was their first time, and they did so well. Great to see.
Almost unheard of, especially for doing this on a region like EU. These guys are all young, up-and-coming GOATs. And
Heck
the future
yeah, dude.
is
That's
really
so tough.
so bright for them, and the possibilities are endless. These guys could 100% be future FNCS winners one day.
Heck
6th
yeah,
place,
bro.
I feel like, is one of the most underrated teams in this entire tournament of Country, Finnick, and Upple. They finished
I haven't
with
heard of this trio.
523 points today, and they were the most consistent team on all of EU, getting an average placement of 7.7.
What a
Now, they were
place.
the team with the least amount of elims in the entire top 10. But
I
they
just saw
have
him get
that
elim, that's why I
consistent
asked.
playstyle where they're going to make it
I'm gonna
into
guess top
endgame
10.
and get top 8s every single game, basically. Huge shout out to these guys. I think the biggest comeback team of the day was definitely Trulex, Chicho, and Tayson, finishing.
I almost feel like K-Dog knows exactly what I'm going to say each time I say it. But 7th. 7th is still good. This is the thing. 11 bans is still good. Tayson, I think Tayson always has that how do I say this without glazing? That's going to come off as glazing. That legendary background because he's been playing for so long, been competitive for so long. So it's still really good to see him placing really high. Top 7 is still pretty good. 100%. Glad he's in the top 10.
They were
That's
in
awesome.
14th after day 1, so them almost being able
Wow.
to bring themselves
Double
into
placement.
the top 5 is still super impressive. I would say it is a little bit of a disappointing tournament for Tayson still, though, because this team was quite literally built for grand finals. You have one of the smartest players in the whole game, a top 3 player of all time in Tayson, and 2 of the best surge getters on the entire region on the same trio, and they were still over 100 points outside of the top 5. Hopefully they're able to
Couldn't even
lock
chop
in
height,
next
wow.
season and secure their spot into LAN. And then in 8th
How many
place
mats
is
do
a
they use?
team that I want to give huge credit to
Ooh.
of Mr. Savage, Mongrel, and Pans.
Okay. Controversial take. They are not getting first. I don't see it unless they play with Vino. I'm going to keep it a buck because Mongrel and Mr. Savage are good. There's just way better trios. But what I will say is how impressive this is. Because Mongrel and Mr. Savage are always the number top people in the spotlight. Thousands of viewers on Twitch. They are older players when it comes to, when you look at it in Fortnite. Panzer was picked up from Mongrel and Mr. Savage. Panzer is so underrated, it doesn't even make sense to me. If y'all are disrespecting Panzer, y'all are mistaken like crazy. Panzer's insanely good. Not to take away Mongrel, Mr. Savage, but Mongrel, Mr. Savage weren't placing like they are now, and Panzer's now involved, and I think Panzer has a big, big thing to do with it. So big W's to this trio for getting a top 8. This is still mad impressive because as I see them, I still kind of see them as content creators. As I'm trying not to come off as disrespect, but that's kind of how I see it because of the way they stream and stuff like that. So seeing them in a top 8 is still great. It's not no top 5, but 1/10 bands. Top 8 is really, really good for this trio. And I really like to see the future of this. Maybe a top 5, top 3. I could definitely see this. I really think Panzer is like added the cherry on top to making this trio insanely good, dude.
No, honestly, in every single one of the predictions I've seen, and even in my own predictions as well, I was hesitant to put these guys inside of my top 10. But even
I
in
remember
that
Kid
video,
saying that.
I said
I
this
thought
is
they gave
their
top 10.
FNCS. If they ever want to prove to people that they can be a top 10 trio in the region, this is the
He always uses this photo.
FNCS to do that, and that is exactly
Stay
what
hydrated.
they did. They were able to finish with 441 total points
Insane,
and win
bro.
1 out of the 12 games as well. If we look at their match history from today, they played so much better today than yesterday, getting a 5 elimination 15th, 6 elimination 5th, 7 elimination 4th, 3 elimination 7th,
It's
0
consistent.
elimination 17th, and then a 3 elimination 18th.
So it's, look, I feel like the 18th and the 17th is what threw him off. I think that 0 elim is kind of tragic. If they got like a top 10 0 kill, that would have been more like good job. I don't know, that those last 2 games are definitely some but it
Elimination
is what
fourth,
it is, you
3
know what I mean?
elimination 7th, 0 elimination 17th, and then a 3 elimination 18th. If they cleaned up some of the stuff from their final 2 games, they had a real possibility of finishing in top 5 in grand finals, which is honestly just such impressive stuff from this team all around. We are going to highlight Panzer even more because Panzer is slowly becoming one of the
Telling
most underrated players in all of EU.
I'm telling
And if
thank
I
you,
am Mr.
kid.
Savage
That's what
and
I'm saying.
Mongrel, I am doing everything possible to make sure that Panzer does not leave this trio.
That's the thing as well. You know how many other trios are hitting up Panzer now? Because if they see what they can do with Mongrel and Mr. Savage, they are imagining what Panzer could do for all these other players. So I'm curious whether or not Panzer's going to switch up. I'm assuming not because Mongrel and Mr. Savage could have switched up and they didn't. So I'm curious.
This is literally a live
We'll see.
developing story right now. We got a tweet
Bro got fried.
from Panzer that says, looking for one with Mr. Savage.
Oh, Mongrel's dropped?
Then we even had Mr. Savage tweet out, it's been a good run, and he
No. Where's Mongrel going? Mongrel's definitely retiring. Mongrel is definitely retiring.
posted a picture of him and Mongrel together, and the rumor right now is that Mongrel is quitting because I just feel like a lot of us could not see a real possibility of Mr. Savage actually dropping Mongrel. But then
Yeah.
Mongrel also literally said at the end of his stream that he's just going on vacation for a little bit and he's not quitting the game. So
Okay. I'm about to say,
I
bro.
really have no clue what is going on right now. And if I get
I'm
any
gonna
more
say.
updates, I'll leave it in the
I'm not quitting anytime soon. I'm going on vacation on Wednesday, and I'll be back towards the end of the. Thanks. Thank K-Dog. It's in the middle of the image. Okay. We had an amazing past year. See you guys soon. Okay, thank you. He's going to be back by the end of the month. What is that? Oh, end of the month? That's a couple weeks.
below,
But, okay.
but I think we're just gonna have to wait until Mr.
Fair.
Savage goes live again to explain the whole situation. 9th place, I'm not gonna lie, this team 100% choked in day 2. It is
Oh,
the
no.
trio of I Drop Sky and Scroll.
I don't know. Who
They
these are.
finished with 431 points, and I mean,
That's
going
still
from
good.
top 3 day 1 to
I will eat my words and I will drink my water.
finishing barely top 10 is definitely a very disappointing performance from these guys. Hopefully, they're able to learn from this grand finals, though. Sky and Scroll.
Dude, the way he says I hope they learn from this is like such a scolding thing. That's like when you get like in trouble and you get on your you get to sit on your bed and your mom is like, "I hope you learn what you just
are
did."
still such young players, and there is still so much room for improvement for the
Heck
future
yeah,
for this
improvement of
trio.
course. There's always improvement you
And
can
then
do.
rounding out
Heck
the
yeah.
top 10 was CZB, Eclipse, and Nathan. So
I don't know
Such
who these
a
are.
stacked top 10 as always. If we go over some of the
Where's
other
Thomas
big
HC?
names that just finished outside that top 10, we have like Pink, Nebs, and Chino in 12th.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
Edison, Noah Riley in 15th.
Oh,
Very
nice.
disappointing. FNCS.
Oh, not nice.
Them all around. If I had to give out the most disappointing team on all of EU, I think I would definitely give it to Chaps Trio. We know that
Really?
they are capable of so much more, and a 15th
makes
place
sense.
is nowhere near what they should be. 16th place was Christini and Skavi on 363. Seti, Hari, and Cammy finished in.
Wow. Wow. See, notice when you don't cheat for surge tags where it gets you. Let me move my face cam so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, let's. Oops.
In 21st, so we were able to go from, I'm pretty sure, like 30-something day 1 to 21st after day 2. We know they literally were contested, 12 out of 12 in this tournament.
Golly, that's absurd. 12 out of 12 contestants, awful. This is the thing. Some people in the tournament gotta get contested, so it happens. You know what I mean? It happens.
Finished in 26th
Dang, bro.
place. I am very confident that if Seti, Hari, and Cammy are able to get uncon for all of next season, they will 100% be a top 3 grand finals team. But this is now just back-to-back grand finals now that if they are contested, you really just cannot put your faith in them. Let's get on to the final kin stats now for the most damage dealt in EU. Starting off with in 10th place on 10,000.
This makes so much sense. I'm not gonna cap. No glaze.
9th is Vino,
So much
8th
sense.
is Walk, 7th is Ping, 6th is Tayson. Going into the top 5 is Eclipse in 5th, Chicho in 4th, Vico in 3rd, Panzer in 2nd, and then Merstash in 1st with 13,588. So honestly, huge shout out to the entire top 3. I think they have a real argument for being like 3 of the best players in this entire grand finals.
Makes
Vico
sense.
played out of his mind this whole tournament. Panzer played out of his mind this whole tournament. And Merstash has an argument for being one of the best fraggers in the entire world. What an insane grands all around. Before we conclude this video, of course, we have to look at how my predictions went. I'll put them up on the screen right here.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. See, I'm telling you, he is super consistent with his placements. That is crazy. That's some crazy consistency. I'm not gonna lie. So look, at the end of all this, that's probably the end of the video right here, I'm assuming. Yeah, that's the end of the video. What I will say is, of course, make sure y'all subscribe to K-Dog. But at the end of the day, NA, EU, beautiful finals. I think whatever next finals happens, I'll probably do a watch party. I was going to do one this time. However, I didn't even know it was this soon. So that's why I wasn't able to keep up with it. But I'll definitely try and do it for the next one. Definitely 1,000,000% when globals happens, I'm going to do that. But since I have a PC, definitely going to start doing more watch parties. I'm going to be back on Twitch sometime in March. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. So I want to thank y'all so much for showing up into today's video. God bless. Jesus loves y'all. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see y'all in the next video.